We're officially 1 week away from the Chicago election. It's a crowded field with incumbent Mayor Lori Lightfoot facing off with 8 other candidates who want to be mayor of Chicago. To discuss the race, joining us now is Dr. Nicholas Kachiroubas, who's a professor and chair of DePaul's School of Public Service. He's also the city clerk of Crystal Lake. Doctor, thank you so much for waking up with us. Appreciate it.
I appreciate being here. Nice to see you, Chris, on a bright sunny day.
Absolutely, on a Fat Tuesday. Before we get into the meat of what your expertise is, where do you view the state of the race for mayor right now, 1 week out?
So we're definitely in the crunch time of the election. Being a week out, again, it's important that people really pay attention this last week, especially those who haven't made up their mind on who they're going to vote for, because as I'm sure you know, this race is about getting into the runoff, and that's the first and second place candidates. So only a few votes may separate the second and third candidate. So it's really critical that people get out and register their vote, especially with this large range of candidates. There's no reason why you can't find somebody that would be of interest to you as mayor of Chicago.
We're looking at a picture of all 9 candidates for mayor. And of course, this weekend, Mayor Lightfoot made some headlines and had to walk back a comment saying, if you're an African-American and you're not voting for Lori Lightfoot, just don't vote. How do you think that might move the tectonic plates of this election 7 days out?
Well, I think that comment was probably not well thought out by the mayor. Certainly, she should at this point know the importance of representing all the citizens of Chicago, regardless of their race. Certainly, she's made no sort of secret that she is out there for African and Latino folks. But there are other Asian, obviously Caucasian people in Chicago that she has to represent as well.
You know, a lot of her critics have said this is a very diverse city. We need to unite different factions and kind of work together, both, you know, as mayor and citizens with city council and the executive office. How does unity factor in all of this in this critical year?
So I think it's going to be key, but the problem is we don't actually know what the city council is going to look like because those elections are taking place at the same time. We have certain candidates like Mayor Lightfoot who has some issues with working with the council. She's got several council members running against her, but that may actually not necessarily be a bad thing for her, because if there are a bunch of new council members coming in the door, she has an opportunity to build relationships with those people. But the same for the other candidates. Paul Vallis has some key endorsements, so he might be a little bit out of the gate in having some of these relationships, but Tom Tunney, one of his key endorsements, is retiring, so he's going to have to build relationships. And then we've got Chuy Garcia, who's is sort of at the top of the list as well. And yes, he's a congressman, but has he been able to build a coalition of aldermen, not just in the progressive Latino caucus, but also in some of the more conservative and north side residents of Chicago and wards as well.
So what are you looking at? What should voters be keeping an eye on in the home stretch here, the final 6-7 days?
So to me, I like to teach leadership, and I think one of the key things you should look for is what is the mayor's vision? First of all, does the mayor have a strong vision for the future? And is that something that you agree with and going forward? And if you like what the mayor's candidate has to say, then you should certainly get out and vote for them. The other thing in my research as presidential chiefs of staff, which we sort of is like the support staff for the mayor, is developing a really robust decision-making process, which means you have to have a roundtable, if you will, of diverse points of view that not only reflect the city's diverse ethnic population, but also reflect the diverse political background of the city as well.
Dr. Nicholas Kachiroubas, professor and chair of DePaul's School of Public Service and Crystal Lake City Clerk. Thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate your time this Tuesday morning.
Good to be with you. Have a great day.